The black laptop bag sits on Loretta Washington's lap like a ticking bomb. Her fingers hover over the zipper as the highway rumbles beneath their Buick. Something feels wrong. Something feels like a lie wrapped in her grandson's smile. She pulls the zipper, and her entire world splits open. 3 weeks earlier, Loretta had been standing in her Harlem kitchen, the same kitchen where she'd taught Darius to scramble eggs when he was 7 years old. The same kitchen where she'd held him the night his parents died in that car crash on the Cross Bronx Expressway. 23 years of raising that boy. 23 years of sacrifice. Now he stood in her doorway with his wife, Aaliyah, asking for $30,000. Loretta's hands had stopped mid-motion, her coffee mug suspended in air. She was 65 years old, retired from teaching English at PS 125 for 37 years. Her pension covered her mortgage and Vernon's heart medication. Barely. Darius wouldn't meet her eyes. That's what hurt most. The boy who used to run to her after school now stared at her linoleum floor like it held secrets. Aaliyah did all the talking. Designer purse on the table, nails done, hair fresh from the salon, $300 worth of highlights while asking for $30,000 more. An investment opportunity, Aaliyah said. A sure thing. A chance to finally break free from living paycheck to paycheck. Loretta had been supporting them for 5 years, helping with rent when Darius's tech startup kept failing, buying groceries when their lights got cut off, paying for little Maya's daycare so Aaliyah could work her retail job. Except Aaliyah kept quitting those retail jobs. The word no had tasted like metal in Loretta's mouth. Aaliyah's face had turned to stone, cold, sharp. Darius finally looked up, and Loretta saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Resentment. Like somehow she was the villain in this story. They left without saying goodbye. For 2 weeks, silence. No calls, no visits. No bringing Maya by on Sundays for Loretta's famous peach cobbler. Then Darius showed up alone on a Tuesday evening, all smiles and apologies. He hugged her tight, said he was sorry, said Aaliyah was sorry too, said they wanted to make it right with a family trip upstate. Just a weekend. Him, Aaliyah, Maya, Loretta, and Vernon. A chance to heal, he said. Loretta's heart had swelled. Her grandson was back. Her family was intact. She should have known better. The morning they left, Darius handed her the black laptop bag at her front door. His laptop was getting repaired, he explained. Could she hold his work files? Plus some coloring books for Maya. Nothing heavy. Just do him this favor. Loretta took the bag without question. Trust is a currency she'd spent freely on that boy for 23 years. Now, on the Harlem River Drive with Vernon humming along to Smokey Robinson, Loretta unzips that bag. Her hands move past Maya's coloring books. Her fingers touch something hard. Plastic. Cold. USB drives. 5 of them. Unmarked except for strips of red tape. Her breath catches. Beneath the drives, papers, technical schematics, diagrams she doesn't understand but recognizes as serious, official, in the corner of each page, a stamp in red ink. National Tech Corp. Classified. Authorized personnel only. Her vision blurs. Her chest tightens. Vernon, she tries to say, but her voice comes out as a whisper. She digs deeper. More documents. More drives. A small hard drive wrapped in bubble wrap. Everything hidden beneath her great-granddaughter's innocent SpongeBob coloring book. Stop the damn car, Vernon. Now. Her voice explodes through the Buick like a gunshot. Vernon's head snaps toward her. His foot slams the brake. The car behind them blares its horn. They swerve onto the shoulder, gravel spitting beneath the tires. What? Vernon's eyes are wild, scanning for danger. What's wrong? Are you okay? Loretta can't breathe. Her hands shake so violently the USB drives rattle in the bag. 23 years. She raised him. She loved him. She gave him everything she had. And he's framing her. Corporate espionage. That's what these documents mean. That's what these drives represent. Stolen technology. classified information, the kind of thing that puts people in federal prison for decades. Her 65-year-old black body, her clean record, her teacher's pension, and her little rent-controlled apartment in Harlem. He's going to destroy her. Vernon stares at the bag, then at Loretta, then back at the bag. His mouth opens, but no words come. Cars scream past them on the highway. Someone yells out a window. The city moves around them like they're frozen in time. Loretta's phone buzzes in her pocket. A text message. From Darius. Just one line. Almost there, Grandma. Can't wait to spend the weekend with you. 3 little dots. A smiley face emoji. The boy she raised is about to feed her to the wolves, and he's sending her emojis. Loretta Washington looks out at the Harlem skyline, the neighborhood where she was born, where she taught generations of children to read and write and dream, where she buried her daughter and son-in-law, where she became a mother all over again, to a 7-year-old boy with tears streaming down his face. That boy is gone. In his place is a stranger willing to sacrifice her for money, for greed, for whatever poisonous dream Aaliyah has whispered in his ear. Vernon's hand finds hers. His grip is tight, steady. What do we do, Letty? Loretta zips the bag closed. Her jaw sets. Her spine straightens. She's been a teacher for 37 years. She knows how to educate people who think they're smarter than her. This lesson is going to hurt. Vernon pulls the Buick back onto the highway, but neither of them speaks. Loretta clutches the laptop bag against her chest like evidence at a crime scene. Her mind spirals backward, unwinding 23 years in seconds. She sees Darius at 7 years old. The funeral had been on a Thursday, rain hammering the roof of Abyssinian Baptist Church on 138th Street. 2 closed caskets because the crash had been that bad. Darius sitting between Loretta and Vernon, his little suit 2 sizes too big, his eyes dry and hollow. He hadn't cried. Not once. Not when they lowered his parents into the ground. Not when everyone went home and left them standing in Loretta's living room with a duffel bag of his clothes and a stuffed dinosaur. That night, he climbed into bed with her and Vernon. 3 in the morning. Still hadn't cried. Just whispered, "Are you going to leave me too?" Loretta had held him until sunrise, made a promise against his forehead. Never. I will never leave you. She kept that promise. God, she kept it. For 6 years, she worked doubles at PS 125, teaching English to 11th graders during the day, running the after-school program until 7 at night. Every extra dollar went into a college fund, every overtime check, every summer school stipend. Vernon worked maintenance at Columbia University. Together, they stretched every paycheck across 3 people instead of 2. Loretta stopped buying new clothes. Vernon drove the same Buick for 15 years. Their vacation became 2 nights at Vernon's brother's place in New Jersey. But Darius had everything. New sneakers when his old ones wore out, a laptop for school, SAT prep courses that cost $600, tutors when his calculus grade slipped. When MIT accepted him, Loretta cried for an hour in her classroom after the last bell rang. Her daughter's son, going to one of the best schools in the country. The tuition was $62,000 a year. Her teacher's pension and savings covered maybe half. Vernon took out loans. Loretta picked up summer school every year. They ate rice and beans 4 nights a week. Darius called home once a month. Maybe. Then came Aaliyah. Loretta met her at graduation. Designer dress, designer shoes, a psychology degree from BU, and an attitude that could cut glass. She kissed Loretta's cheek and called her Mama Loretta with a smile that never reached her eyes. The wedding was 8 months later. Loretta paid for the flowers, the photographer, half the catering. $15,000 drained from what was left of her retirement fund. Aaliyah had opinions about everything. The napkins were too plain. The DJ wasn't expensive enough. The church wasn't fancy enough for her Boston friends. Darius just nodded along. My wife wants it perfect, Grandma. You understand. Loretta understood she was watching her grandson change, watching him become someone she didn't recognize. The tech startup came next. Darius quit his job at a Fortune 500 company to chase a dream. A revolutionary app. Cloud-based something. Venture capital language Loretta didn't understand. He needed seed money. $25,000 to get started. Loretta gave it to him, cashed out the last of her retirement bonds. The startup failed within a year. Then came the rent help, the grocery money, the daycare payments for Maya. 5 years of monthly checks ranging from $300 to $1,500. 5 years of Darius promising this was temporary, just until the next opportunity, just until Aaliyah got promoted, just until things stabilized. Things never stabilized. Aaliyah stopped saying thank you after the first year, started making comments instead. Subtle digs, little cuts. Must be nice to own your apartment, Mama Loretta. We're stuck renting in this shoebox. I wish we could afford organic like you do, but we're broke. Maya deserves better than public school, but what can we do? We don't have family money. Loretta bit her tongue, smiled, kept writing checks. 2 months ago, they came asking for $30,000. Darius and Aaliyah standing in her kitchen at 9 in the morning on a Saturday. No warning, no phone call. A dream condo in Brooklyn. 3 bedrooms. A doorman, a gym in the building. They needed the down payment. Just a loan, Grandma. We'll pay you back. Loretta had looked at her grandson, really looked at him. The boy she'd raised was gone. In his place stood a 30-year-old man who saw her as a bank, an ATM with a pulse. Her retirement fund was empty. Her savings account had $3,200. She and Vernon were living on Social Security and her teacher's pension. They'd given everything. I can't, she'd said. The words felt like swallowing glass. I don't have it, baby. I'm sorry. The silence in that kitchen had been arctic. Darius's face had closed like a door slamming shut. His jaw clenched. His eyes went cold, hard. Aaliyah had laughed, actually laughed. A sharp, bitter sound that echoed off the walls. You can't, or you won't. Loretta's hands had trembled. I don't have $30,000, Aaliyah. I've given you everything I have. Everything? Aaliyah's voice had risen. We've been struggling for 5 years. 5 years. And you're sitting here in your paid-off apartment acting like we're asking for charity. You owe us. The words had come out like venom. After everything Darius has been through, after losing his parents, you owe us this. Darius hadn't corrected her, hadn't defended Loretta, just stood there with his arms crossed and that cold, entitled stare. They'd left without another word, slammed the door hard enough to rattle the picture frames. Vernon had found Loretta crying in the bathroom an hour later. 37 years of teaching, 23 years of raising someone else's child, a lifetime of sacrifice. And she owed them. Now, sitting in the Buick with stolen classified documents in her lap, Loretta understands. The $30,000 was never about a condo. It was about control, about testing how far they could push her. When she said no, they found another way to take what they wanted. Her phone buzzes again. Another text from Darius. A photo of Maya smiling in the backseat of his car. Caption reads, Maya can't wait to see great-grandma. Loretta looks at that little girl's face. 4 years old, innocent, beautiful. She's not losing Maya to these people. She's not letting them destroy one more generation with their poison. Vernon glances at her. His voice is steady, quiet. What's the plan, Letty? Loretta's grip tightens on the bag. First, she says, we're going to make a phone call. Vernon's phone sits in the cup holder between them. Loretta stares at it like it might explode. Her finger hovers over the keypad, about to dial 911, when headlights flash in the rearview mirror. A car swerves around them, cuts directly in front of their Buick, brakes screaming. Vernon jerks the wheel. Their car lurches sideways on the shoulder, gravel spraying like buckshot. The car in front of them stops, blocks them in. Darius climbs out. Loretta's entire body goes rigid. Her grandson stalks toward them through the glow of their headlights. His face is twisted, confused, angry. He pounds on Vernon's window. The glass rattles in its frame. "Grandma, why'd you stop?" His voice is muffled but loud. Strained. "What's going on? Why aren't you following us?" Vernon looks at Loretta. His hand moves toward the door lock. She nods. "Keep the windows up." Darius pounds harder. His wedding ring clinks against the glass. "Grandma, open the door. Talk to me. What happened?" Loretta leans across Vernon. Her face is 6 inches from her grandson's through the window. Close enough to see the vein pulsing in his temple. Close enough to see the calculation behind his panic. "We know about the documents, Darius." His expression freezes, completely still, like someone hit pause on his face. "The FBI is on its way." For 3 seconds, nothing happens. The highway roars around them. Cars blur past. The world keeps spinning. Then Darius's face transforms. Shock ripples across his features first, eyes wide, mouth open, the look of someone who just realized their entire plan collapsed. Then comes the rage. His fist slams the window, once, twice, hard enough that Vernon flinches. "You did what?" His voice cracks with fury. "Are you insane? Do you know what you've done?" "Saved myself from federal prison." Loretta's voice doesn't shake. "From spending the rest of my life locked up for something you did." Darius's laugh is wild, unhinged. He's still pounding the window. "Saved yourself? Saved yourself? I'm your grandson. I'm family. You're supposed to protect me." "Like you protected me?" Loretta shoots back. "By turning me into a mule for your stolen files? By setting me up to take the fall?" Movement in Darius's car catches her eye. Aaliyah climbs out of the passenger seat. Her heels click on the asphalt as she storms toward them. She's screaming before she even reaches the window. "You're ruining our lives." Her voice is shrill, desperate. "Everything we've worked for, everything we've built, you're destroying it because you're selfish and bitter." Loretta feels something crack inside her chest. Not break, crack, like ice giving way. "I gave you everything." Her voice rises. "Every dollar I had, every sacrifice I made. I raised your husband after his parents died. I paid for his education. I kept you afloat for 5 years." Aaliyah's face contorts. "And this is how you repay us? By calling the cops? By ruining Darius's future?" "His future?" Loretta's laugh is sharp, bitter. "He tried to ruin mine." Sirens wail in the distance, faint but growing louder. The sound cuts through everything. Darius hears them. His head snaps toward the noise. His face goes pale. "No." His voice drops to a whisper. "No, no, no." He backs away from the window, stumbles, catches himself. His eyes meet Loretta's one last time. She sees it then, the boy she raised. Just a flash, a flicker of something human beneath the rage and panic. Then it's gone. Darius runs back to his car, grabs Aaliyah's arm. She's still screaming, still clawing at the air like she can tear down reality itself. He shoves her into the passenger seat, slams the door, races around to the driver's side. Their car roars to life. Tires screech. They peel out onto the highway doing 70, 80, gone in seconds. The sirens grow louder. Loretta watches red and blue lights approach in the side mirror. Her hands are shaking so hard the laptop bag slides off her lap onto the floor. Vernon's hand finds hers, squeezes, holds on. "You did the right thing, Letty." "Did I?" Her voice breaks. "I just turned in my grandson, Vernon, my baby's baby." "He was going to put you in prison." Vernon's jaw tightens. "For 20 years, maybe more. You know what happens to people like us in federal prison." Loretta knows. Of course she knows. But knowing doesn't make it hurt less. 3 police cars pull up behind them. Officers step out, hands on their weapons but not drawn, cautious, professional. One approaches Vernon's window, knocks twice. "Ma'am, sir, we got a call about suspicious documents. Can you step out of the vehicle, please?" Loretta opens her door. Her legs nearly give out when her feet hit the pavement. Vernon catches her elbow, steadies her. She hands the laptop bag to a female officer. Young, maybe 25. Reminds Loretta of students she taught years ago. "Everything you need is in there." Loretta's voice sounds ancient, worn. USB drives, classified documents from National Tech Corp. "My grandson gave it to me this morning." The officer unzips the bag. Her expression hardens. "Ma'am, you're going to need to come down to the station. Answer some questions." Loretta nods. "I understand." They don't arrest her. Not yet. But the ride to the precinct feels like a funeral procession. At the station, they separate her and Vernon, put her in a room with gray walls and fluorescent lights that hum like dying bees. She sits at a metal table for 40 minutes before anyone comes in. When they do, it's not who she expects. "Mrs. Washington?" Loretta looks up. A black man in his mid-30s stands in the doorway. Sharp suit, kind eyes, familiar eyes. Her breath catches. "Jamal?" Jamal Walker smiles. Small, sad. The same smile he used to give her when she'd stay after school to help him with his English papers. "Yes, ma'am." He steps into the room, closes the door behind him. "I'm a private investigator now. The FBI brought me in to consult on this case. Something about corporate espionage and family connections." He sits across from her, pulls out a notepad. "When they told me your name, I couldn't believe it." His voice is gentle, respectful. "My favorite teacher, the woman who helped me get into John Jay, in a room like this." Loretta's eyes burn. "I taught you to fight for what's right, Jamal. Now I need you to help me do the same." Jamal nods, opens his notepad, clicks his pen. "Tell me everything, Mrs. Washington. Start from the beginning, and don't leave anything out." Loretta takes a breath and starts talking. Jamal spreads 6 photographs across the metal table. Each one lands like a slap. Loretta stares at them under the fluorescent lights, her breath coming in shallow bursts. The first photo shows Alia, outside a restaurant in Midtown, her hand on a man's chest, laughing. The kind of laugh that looks intimate even through a camera lens. The second photo is closer. The man's face is visible now. White, 50s, expensive suit, wedding ring catching the light. Marcus Chen. Jamal taps the photo. Vice President of Strategic Acquisitions at Vertex Tech Solutions, rival company to National Tech Corp. Loretta's stomach turns over. They've been seeing each other for 8 months. Jamal pulls out more photos. Hotel entrances, car meetups, lunch dates that stretch into 3-hour afternoons. He's married. 2 kids in boarding school. A house in Connecticut. And Darius? Loretta's voice sounds hollow. He knows? Jamal's expression darkens. That's where it gets complicated. He pulls out a bank statement, slides it toward her. The numbers blur together at first. Then Loretta's eyes focus on one line. Outstanding debt, $200,000. Her hand flies to her mouth. Darius borrowed from a private equity group 2 years ago. Jamal's finger traces down the page. For another startup. Another failure. The interest rate was criminal. 17%. He's been drowning. So Aaliyah found someone to save him. Loretta's voice hardens. By throwing me under the bus. Jamal nods slowly. Marcus Chen made them an offer. Frame you for corporate espionage. Make it look like you stole those classified documents and tried to sell them to competitors. In exchange, Chen pays off Darius's debt and gives him a job at Vertex Tech. The room spins. Loretta grips the edge of the table. They were going to paint you as a senile old teacher. Jamal's voice is tight with anger. Someone who didn't know what she was doing. Someone who got confused, desperate for money and retirement. Senile. The word tastes like poison. 37 years of teaching. A master's degree in English literature from City College. Student of the Year awards lining her walls at home. Recommendations from principals. Thank you letters from hundreds of students. And they were going to call her senile. Loretta's hands ball into fists on the table. Her nails dig into her palms. There's more. Jamal reaches into his folder, pulls out a document, sets it down carefully. It's a will, Loretta's will, except she's never seen it before in her life. Her eyes scan the pages. Legal language, witness signatures she doesn't recognize. And there, on page 3, clear as day. I, Loretta Marie Washington, being of sound mind and body, do hereby bequeath my property located at 347 West 118th Street, New York, New York, to my beloved granddaughter-in-law, Aliyah Simone Carter. The brownstone, her home, the apartment she's lived in for 42 years, the place where she raised Darius, where she buried her grief after her daughter died, where every wall holds memories. They forged her will. When? Her voice cracks. When did they make this? Jamal checks his notes. Filed 6 weeks ago with a law office in Queens. Small firm, the kind that doesn't ask too many questions if the check clears. 6 weeks ago, right after she refused to loan them the $30,000. This was their backup plan. Jamal leans forward. If the espionage frame didn't work, they'd wait until you died naturally and take the brownstone anyway. Either way, they win. The room is silent except for the hum of those dying fluorescent lights. Loretta sits perfectly still. Her mind is racing, but her body is stone. She thinks about Maya, 4 years old, being raised by these people, learning their values, their entitlement, their cruelty. She thinks about Darius at 7, holding that stuffed dinosaur, asking if she'd leave him too. She thinks about every dollar she gave, every sacrifice, every choice to go without, so he could have more. And they wanted to call her senile. Something shifts in Loretta's chest, not breaking, hardening, crystallizing into something sharp and clear. She looks up at Jamal, her former student, the kid she tutored every Tuesday after school because his mother worked 2 jobs and couldn't help with homework. The young man she wrote recommendation letters for, who called her Mrs. Washington with respect even now. Her lips curve into a smile, small, cold, dangerous. They forgot who taught them how to play smart. Jamal blinks. Mrs. Washington? I spent 37 years teaching teenagers how to think critically. Loretta's voice is steady now, strong. How to analyze, how to strategize, how to see 3 moves ahead. She taps the forged will. Darius sat in my living room doing homework every night for 11 years. You think he learned nothing? Jamal's expression shifts. Understanding dawning. He learned from the best, Loretta continues. Problem is, he's still the student, and I'm still the teacher. She stands, her spine straight, head high. I need you to do something for me, Jamal. Anything, Mrs. Washington. I need you to find out everything. Loretta's eyes are fierce. Every text message, every phone call, every meeting between Aaliyah and Marcus Chen, every detail of how they planned this. Jamal pulls out his phone, already on it. But Mrs. Washington, if we're building a case against them, we need to move carefully. The FBI will want solid evidence. We're not just building a case. Loretta's smile grows. We're building a trap. She walks to the door, knocks twice. The officer who brought her in opens it. Am I free to go? The officer nods. For now, don't leave the city. We'll be in touch. Loretta steps into the hallway. Vernon is waiting on a bench, his face lined with worry. He stands when he sees her. Letty? She takes his hand, squeezes. Her voice is barely a whisper. Call our lawyer, then call our bank. We're going to need cash. Vernon's eyes widen. What are you planning? Loretta looks back at Jamal through the doorway. He's gathering his files, moving with purpose. I'm planning to teach my grandson one final lesson. Her jaw sets. The most important one. What's that? Never underestimate your teacher. Jamal's apartment in Brooklyn is smaller than Loretta expected. 1 bedroom, kitchen the size of a closet. But his equipment is impressive. 3 computer monitors glow in the darkness. Cables snake across the floor like veins. He types faster than she can follow. Lines of code scroll past. Windows open and close. What are we doing exactly? Vernon asks from the doorway. He's holding 2 coffees from the bodega downstairs. We're making Vertex Tech think Darius is playing both sides. Jamal doesn't look away from the screen. I'm creating a fake email trail. Messages from Darius to a 3rd competitor, offering them the same stolen documents for a better price. Loretta leans closer. Will Marcus Chen believe it? He will when I'm done. Jamal's fingers fly across the keyboard. I'm using Darius's actual writing style, his email patterns, his digital footprint. It'll look completely real. Within 3 hours, it's done. The fake emails are planted, the digital breadcrumbs laid. Now we wait. Jamal sits back. Chen will see these messages within 24 hours. When he does, he'll think Darius betrayed him. The debt payoff will disappear. So will the job offer. But we still need proof. Loretta's mind is calculating, moving pieces around like a chess game. Proof that Aaliyah and Darius planned this together, that they knew exactly what they were doing. Jamal holds up a small device, smaller than a quarter. That's where this comes in. 3 days later, Loretta sits in her living room with her phone on speaker. The recording device Jamal gave her is taped underneath the coffee table, hidden, waiting. Aaliyah's voice crackles through the speaker, high-pitched, panicked. Marcus is furious. He's saying Darius tried to sell the documents to someone else, that the whole deal is off. Loretta keeps her voice calm, confused. I don't understand what this has to do with me, Aaliyah. Don't play dumb. Aaliyah's words come fast. Desperate. You turned in those documents. You called the FBI. Now Marcus thinks we set him up. You did set him up. Loretta's voice hardens just slightly. You set me up. Silence on the other end. Heavy. Thick. Then Aaliyah laughs. Bitter and sharp. You were supposed to take the fall. That was the plan. Senile old woman doesn't know what she's carrying. Gets arrested. We get the payout and disappear. There it is. The confession. Clear as a bell. And the will? Loretta pushes. The forged document saying, I left you my brownstone? Insurance. Aaliyah's voice turns cold. In case you died before we could frame you properly. Either way, we'd get what we deserved. What you deserved. Loretta repeats the words slowly. After everything I gave you. You gave us scraps. Aaliyah spits the words. While sitting in your paid-off apartment, you could have given us that $30,000. You chose not to. So we chose this. The line goes dead. Loretta sits in the silence. The recording device captured everything. Every word, every admission. She calls Darius next. Her voice is different now. Softer. Broken. I need to see you. Alone. Please, baby. Just you and me. Like it used to be. Darius agrees to meet her at the brownstone the next morning. 10 o'clock. Just the 2 of them. When he walks through her door, he looks terrible. Unshaven. Dark circles under his eyes. Clothes wrinkled like he slept in them. They sit at her kitchen table. The same table where she helped him with homework. Where they ate breakfast together for 11 years. Tell me the truth, Darius. Loretta's hands are folded. Steady. Why did you do this? His face crumbles. Everything spills out. The debt. The threats from the lenders. The sleepless nights. Aaliyah finding Marcus Chen. The promises of freedom. Of a fresh start. She said you'd never actually get arrested. That you'd just be questioned and cleared. That it was victimless. His voice breaks. I didn't want to do it, Grandma, I swear. But I was drowning, and she kept saying you owed us, that you had the money but were being selfish, that this was your fault for not helping when we needed you. Tears streamed down his face. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Loretta reaches across the table, takes his hand. For a moment, she sees the 7-year-old boy again, lost, scared, holding that stuffed dinosaur. Then the front door slams open. Aaliyah storms in. Her face is twisted with rage. What are you doing? She grabs Darius's shoulder. Don't listen to her. She's losing her mind. She's trying to manipulate you. Darius stands, confused, torn. Aaliyah points at Loretta. She's turning you against me, against us. We're your family, not her. Loretta stands slowly, reaches into her pocket, pulls out her phone. Is that what we are? Family? She presses play. Aaliyah's voice fills the kitchen, crystal clear, every word of their phone conversation. You were supposed to take the fall. That was the plan. Senile old woman doesn't know what she's carrying. The color drains from Aaliyah's face. Insurance. In case you died before we could frame you properly. Darius stares at his wife. His mouth opens, but nothing comes out. Either way, we'd get what we deserved. Loretta stops the recording, sets the phone on the table. You thought you could play me? Her voice is quiet, deadly. I raised you, boy. I taught you how to think, how to plan, how to survive in this world. She looks at Aaliyah, then back at Darius. But you forgot one thing. Her voice drops to barely a whisper. I've been surviving in Harlem for 65 years. You really think I wouldn't see you coming? The silence in that kitchen is absolute. The FBI comes at dawn. 6 agents in tactical gear, search warrant in hand. They hit Darius's apartment in Brooklyn like a wave crashing through glass. Loretta isn't there to see it. She's sitting in her kitchen with Vernon, drinking coffee, when Jamal calls with the news. They found 3 hard drives hidden in the air vent. His voice is steady, professional, more documents, more classified files, enough evidence to bury them both. Loretta's hand trembles around her mug. How much time are we talking? Federal espionage? Jamal pauses. Corporate fraud? With their priors and the forged will? 5 to 10 years minimum? The trial comes faster than expected. Federal prosecutors don't waste time when they have airtight evidence. Loretta walks into the Manhattan courthouse on a Tuesday morning in October. The building is all marble and echoes. Her heels click against the floor like a metronome. Vernon holds her left arm. Jamal walks on her right. Reporters swarm the steps. Cameras flash. Questions fly like bullets. Mrs. Washington, how does it feel to testify against your own grandson? She doesn't answer. Just keeps walking. Head high, spine straight. Inside the courtroom, she sees Darius for the first time in 6 weeks. He's wearing a suit she bought him 3 years ago for a job interview. His hands are cuffed in front of him. His eyes find hers across the room. He looks away first. Aaliyah sits beside him at the defense table. Designer dress, hair perfect, like she's attending a gala instead of her own trial. She stares straight ahead, jaw clenched, defiant. All rise. The bailiff's voice cuts through the murmur. The Honorable Judge Patricia Morrison, presiding. The judge is black, 60s, gray hair pulled back tight, reading glasses perched on her nose. She looks at Loretta with something that might be respect. The prosecution calls their first witness 2 hours into the proceedings. Loretta Washington. She walks to the stand, places her hand on the Bible, swears to tell the truth. The prosecutor is young, Latina, sharp suit, kind eyes. Mrs. Washington, can you tell the court about your relationship with the defendants? Loretta's voice doesn't waver, doesn't break. I raised Darius from the age of 7 after his parents died in a car accident. I supported him financially through MIT, through 5 years of failed business ventures. I helped support his wife and daughter. I gave them everything I had. Did there come a time when you refused to give them money? Yes, 2 months ago. They asked for $30,000 for a down payment on a condo. I didn't have it. My retirement fund was empty. What happened next? 3 weeks later, my grandson handed me a laptop bag, told me it contained his work files and coloring books for his daughter. Instead, it contained stolen classified documents from National Tech Corp. The prosecutor pauses. Lets that sink in. Did you know what was in the bag? Not until I opened it on the highway. Loretta looks directly at the jury, 12 faces staring back at her. Then I called the FBI. The defense attorney tries to break her during cross-examination. Tall man, expensive suit, condescending smile. Mrs. Washington, isn't it true you've had memory issues recently? No. Isn't it possible you simply forgot that your grandson explained what was in the bag? I have a master's degree in English literature. Loretta's voice is ice. I taught high school for 37 years. My memory is fine. But at 65, surely some confusion is normal? At 65, I can still grade essays, balance my checkbook, and recognize a setup when I see one. The courtroom ripples with suppressed laughter. The judge hides a smile. Aaliyah takes the stand next. Her strategy is immediate. Blame everything on Darius. I didn't know about the documents. Her voice quivers. Perfect victim performance. My husband planned everything. He told me we were just borrowing some files for a presentation. The prosecutor stands, approaches slowly. Mrs. Carter, do you know a man named Marcus Chen? Aaliyah's face goes blank. I might have met him at a networking event. Did you have an affair with Marcus Chen, vice president of Vertex Tech Solutions? No. The word comes too fast, too defensive. The prosecutor nods to her assistant. A screen lights up behind the witness stand. Photos appear, Aaliyah and Marcus. Hotels, restaurants, timestamps covering 8 months. Gasps ripple through the courtroom. Did Marcus Chen offer to pay off your husband's $200,000 debt in exchange for framing Loretta Washington? Aaliyah's lawyer objects. The judge overrules. Answer the question, Mrs. Carter. Aaliyah's mouth opens, closes, opens again. No words come out. The prosecutor introduces the forged will next. The fake signatures. The Queen's Law Office that processed it. The timeline showing it was filed right after Loretta refused the loan. Then comes the audio recording. Aaliyah's voice fills the courtroom. You were supposed to take the fall. Senile old woman doesn't know what she's carrying. Insurance in case you died. The jury's faces harden. Loretta testifies again. Final witness. The prosecutor asks one last question. Mrs. Washington, you have a great-granddaughter, Maya, age 4. Did you take any steps to protect her future? Loretta nods. Yes. 3 years ago, I established a trust fund for Maya's education. $50,000. Untouchable until she turns 18. Only Vernon and I have access as trustees. The courtroom goes silent. I'm no fool, Loretta looks at the judge, and I protect what's mine. The jury deliberates for 90 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Judge Morrison removes her glasses, looks at Darius and Aaliyah with something like disappointment. Corporate espionage, fraud, conspiracy, forgery. She pauses. You didn't just betray your country's corporate interests. You betrayed the woman who raised you, who sacrificed everything for you. She looks at Loretta in the gallery. Mrs. Washington showed you what real love looks like. You showed her what real betrayal feels like. The gavel comes down. 5 years. Federal prison. No parole eligibility for 3 years. Aaliyah screams, lunges at the defense table. Bailiffs grab her, drag her toward the side door. Darius just sits, stares at his hands, doesn't look at Loretta as they lead him away. Outside the courthouse, Vernon holds Loretta's hand. She's not crying. Not yet. It's over, Letty. She watches a transport van pull away. Darius inside somewhere, heading to processing. "No," she whispers. "Now it begins." The first letter arrives 3 weeks after sentencing. Plain white envelope. Federal Correctional Institution return address. Ray Brook, New York. 6 hours north of Harlem. Loretta stares at it on her kitchen table for an hour before opening it. Darius's handwriting. Messy. Rushed. Like he wrote it in one sitting without stopping. "Grandma, I don't know if you'll read this. I wouldn't blame you if you threw it away. But I need to say things I should have said in court." The letter goes on for 3 pages. Front and back. Words crammed together. He talks about the debt, the pressure, the threats from the lenders who loaned him money at 17% interest, men who showed up at his apartment, who knew where Maya went to daycare. He talks about Aaliyah, how she found Marcus Chen, how she convinced him this was the only way out, how she said Loretta would never actually get arrested, just questioned, just scared a little. "I was weak, Grandma. I was drowning and she threw me an anchor instead of a rope, and I was too stupid to know the difference." Loretta's hands shake as she reads. They have a tech rehabilitation program here, teaching coding to inmates, preparing us for jobs when we get out. I enrolled. I'm learning Python, JavaScript, things I should have been doing instead of chasing shortcuts. The letter ends simply. "I know sorry isn't enough. I know I destroyed everything, but I'm trying to be someone Maya can be proud of. Someone you raised me to be. I'm 3 years too late, but I'm trying." She sets the letter down, stares out her window at 118th Street. At the Harlem she's known her entire life. Vernon finds her there an hour later, still holding the letter. "What are you going to do?" She doesn't answer right away, just folds the letter carefully, puts it in her pocket. "I don't know yet." The second letter comes 2 days later. Different handwriting, sharper, angry slashes across the page. "Aaliyah." Loretta almost throws it away without reading. Then curiosity wins. "You destroyed my life." That's how it starts. No greeting, no preamble. "I hope you're happy sitting in that brownstone you protected so carefully, while my daughter grows up without her mother, while I rot in here because you couldn't just give us what we needed." The words get worse. Meaner. Blaming Loretta for everything. For refusing the loan, for calling the FBI, for testifying, for being selfish. "You could have prevented all of this. You chose revenge instead of family. I hope that decision haunts you every day." Loretta reads it twice, then tears it into pieces, throws it in the trash. Vernon watches from the doorway. That one didn't deserve a second thought. "No." Loretta's voice is firm. "It didn't." 6 weeks pass before she makes the drive upstate. Vernon insists on coming. They leave at dawn. Take the thruway north, through fall colors, blazing orange and red. The prison looks nothing like the movies. Low buildings, fences, guard towers, parking lot half empty on a Wednesday morning. Inside, everything is beige. Beige walls, beige floors, fluorescent lights that make everyone look sick. They search her purse, make her walk through a metal detector, stamp her hand with invisible ink. The visiting room is crowded, families clustered around tables, children crying, women holding men's hands across scratched surfaces. Then she sees him. Darius walks in wearing prison khakis, hair cut short, face thinner than she remembers. He's lost maybe 20 pounds. His eyes find hers, and for the first time in months, she sees something real there. Not calculation, not entitlement. Fear, shame, hope. He sits across from her, doesn't reach for her hands, just sits with his palms flat on the table. "Thank you for coming." His voice is rough, like he hasn't used it much. Loretta studies him, really looks. Beneath the prison uniform and the weight loss, she searches for the boy she raised. "Tell me about the program." Her voice is neutral. The tech rehabilitation. His face lights up slightly. We're building a database system for a nonprofit, tracking donations, managing volunteers. It's real work, helping real people. And the men who threatened you? The debt collectors? Marcus Chen paid them off before the trial, trying to cover his tracks. Loretta's jaw tightens. So that threat was gone before you even handed me that bag. Darius's face crumbles. I know. By then it was too late. The plan was already in motion, and I was too much of a coward to stop it. They sit in silence. The room buzzes around them. Other families, other conversations, other broken things trying to heal. Maya asks about you. Loretta's voice softens slightly. I tell her you're away working, that you'll be home when she's older. Darius's eyes fill with tears. How is she? She's smart, strong, curious. Loretta leans forward. Everything you should have been fighting for instead of fighting against. I know. I'll always love you, Darius. The words come out steady, strong. You're my grandson, the boy I raised. But that boy made choices that hurt people, that hurt me. She pauses, lets that land. No more handouts, no more bail money, no more rescues. When you get out in 3 years, you earn your way back. You prove you've changed, not with words, with actions. Darius nods, wipes his eyes with the back of his hand. I will. I promise. I'll show you. Loretta stands. The visit is over. She looks down at him one last time. I broke cycles my whole life, baby. Poverty, lack of education, single motherhood when your mama died. I'm not letting you create a new cycle of toxicity for Maya. She walks toward the exit, doesn't look back. In the parking lot, Vernon holds her as she finally cries. 65 years of strength. 65 years of surviving Harlem. 65 years of breaking and rebuilding. And she's still standing. 5 years pass like pages turning in a book. Some days fast, some days slow, but they turn. Maya is 9 years old now. 4th grade at PS. 125. The same school where Loretta taught for 37 years. The same hallways. The same library. Different generation. Every morning, Loretta walks her to school. 8 blocks through Harlem. Past the bodega on the corner where Vernon buys his newspaper. Past the church where they buried her daughter. Past the memories that line these streets like photographs. Maya holds her hand, talks about her teacher, about the book she's reading, about the science project on solar systems she's building with Vernon. She's smart, scary smart, but she's also kind, says please and thank you. Helps elderly Mrs. Chen carry groceries up the stairs. Shares her lunch with kids who forget theirs. Everything Darius could have been. The brownstone is different now, filled with laughter instead of tension. Maya's artwork covers the refrigerator. Her books overflow the shelves. Her voice echoes through rooms that were silent for too long. Loretta retired from teaching, but she couldn't stay away from education. Couldn't ignore the need she saw every day in Harlem. Kids without direction, without support, without someone who believed in them. So she started something. The Harlem Youth Leadership Program, operating out of the community center on 125th Street, twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, after school until 6. 23 kids enrolled the first year, ages 12 to 17, at-risk youth, kids from broken homes, kids with potential drowning in circumstances. Jamal helps her run it. He teaches them basic investigative skills, critical thinking, how to research, how to ask questions, how to protect themselves. Loretta teaches them resilience, how to fail and get back up, how to recognize manipulation, how to value themselves. The program has been running for 4 years now. 70 kids have graduated, 62 went on to college or trade schools, 3 became teachers, 1 became a social worker. They call Loretta Mama Washington. She pretends to hate it, but Vernon sees her smile every time. Maya's 9th birthday falls on a Saturday in October. Crisp autumn air, leaves turning gold, perfect weather. The brownstone is packed. Kids from Maya's class, neighbors, teachers, Jamal and his wife, former students from the youth program, Vernon's brother, and his family up from New Jersey. The living room overflows with presents. The dining table groans under the weight of food. Loretta's famous peach cobbler sits cooling on the counter. Maya stands in the center of it all. Pink dress, hair in 2 puffs, smile that lights up the room. She's opening presents when the phone rings. Loretta's cell, private number. She steps into the kitchen, answers. This is a prepaid call from an inmate at Raybrook Federal Correctional Institution. Press 1 to accept. Loretta presses 1. Grandma? Darius's voice comes through clear, steady, different than it was 5 years ago. Happy birthday to Maya. I know I can't be there, but I wanted to call, to tell you I'm thinking about her. Loretta looks through the doorway. Maya is holding up a book, laughing at something Vernon said. She's beautiful, Darius. Happy, safe. I heard about your program. One of the guys in here is from Harlem. His little brother is enrolled. Says you changed his life. Loretta feels something shift in her chest. Not forgiveness, not yet, but maybe the beginning of something close. I got my release date, Darius continues. 8 months, good behavior, completion of the rehabilitation program. They're helping me find a job, computer support for a nonprofit in Albany. Albany is 2.5 hours from Harlem. Far enough. That's good. Loretta's voice is careful. Keep doing the work, baby. I will. I promise. Maybe when I'm out, I can see Maya. If you think she's ready, if you think I'm ready. We'll see. Loretta doesn't commit, doesn't close the door completely, 1 step at a time. The call ends after 2 minutes. Automated system cuts them off. She stands in her kitchen for a moment, processing. Then Vernon appears in the doorway. Everything okay, Letty? She nods, looks past him at Maya, at their great-granddaughter blowing out 9 candles, at the community they've built in this brownstone, at the life they've created from the ashes of betrayal. We did good, Vernon. He wraps an arm around her shoulders, pulls her close. They watch together as Maya makes a wish, eyes squeezed shut, hands clasped. Later that night, after everyone has gone home and Maya is asleep in her room, Loretta sits on her front stoop. The same stoop she sat on as a girl, as a young teacher, as a mother and grandmother. The Harlem streets are quiet, streetlights casting pools of gold, October air cool against her skin. She thinks about her daughter, gone 23 years. Would she be proud? Would she understand the choices Loretta made? She thinks about the students she taught, the ones who made it, the ones who didn't, the ones still fighting. She thinks about Maya, about the future stretched out before that little girl like an open road. Vernon joins her on the stoop, hands her a mug of tea, sits beside her in comfortable silence. You know what I realized today? Loretta's voice is soft. Every time someone tried to break me, I built something stronger. That's Harlem in you. Vernon smiles. That's 69 years of surviving. More than surviving. Loretta looks up at her brownstone, at the home she protected, the legacy she built, thriving. Inside, Maya's nightlight glows in the window, a small beacon, a promise. The toxic cycle is broken, the wounds are healing, the future is bright. And Loretta Washington, retired teacher, fierce matriarch, survivor of betrayal, stands unbroken. Her Harlem grit softened by pride, her strength wrapped in love, her legacy secure in the little girl sleeping upstairs. She did more than triumph. She transformed.